Now, when it comes to Drake, well, now, if you're ready to see how last name Karen, first name Lamus is freaking out on everyone right now, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And now, really, as we are in such a historic time for hip hop, and due to all of the winning going on from great rappers, the Drake fans are crashing out like we have never seen, and so is lame old Lawbury himself. Well, listen, as all these certified Pinocchio lovers are so angry that they are really at the point where they are trying to straight up take down people and voices from speaking out the truth of what is happening. Listen, I'm very serious when I say this. I'm gonna need all the support possible today, because with what we are about to cover, well, as one side of hip-hop is taking mirror selfies to try and cope with the fact that their career and movement are in shambles, and the other is turning around the entire culture with real music and moments, which, don't worry, OVO losers, Kendrick Lamar just added even more of these great moments on his all-time run that shut down the bot narratives that they are trying to push more and more of. Well, altogether, it's really starting to make sense why a group of grown men who call themselves the Iceman are all acting like that one person that Drake brought on stage that he definitely should not have in terms of their maturity level and age. And now listen, the first thing that we just have to call out Drake for and laugh at for how bad it is really how he is not just Lawbury but Botbury, because now after Spotify removed some more fake streams from songs to kick off the month of August, well, what silently has went down and Drake is getting made fun of right now, and is only going to get worse as more people find out, is how his little record, which won with Central C, did not just crumble the way it did, but 7 million streams suddenly vanished from its play counter as it went from 27 million streams to about 20 million, and well, with this, well, now there is a lot of noise around bots and just delusional stan chaos in general. Let's just put it like this and break this down into reality. After Which One dropped and nobody talked about the song, and it was supposed to go number 7 on the Billboard charts, and then the record went all the way down and is on its way to fall out of the top 20 after only its first week, well, you tell me, it seems like the performance of this record and the removance of the streams could have really added up to this factor of why the record just ended up failing like it did, and it's showing that Drake is ultimately faking streams and botting up, and really when you just understand these numbers and just see how this record went strangely high and then strangely low, well, once again, you tell me, something is clearly up with this, but even worse, what is showing that he is just freaking out to new levels and is in absolute shambles over the entire last month of hip-hop that went down, which saw him have 2 singles come out that just missed terribly, and then at the same time as this, real albums came out that are having real impact, and not just on the culture and in conversation, but we are seeing this reflected on such a grand scale as these records are just sitting on the charts comfortably. Well, now really, as we are sitting in a time where the Clipse have had 6 hardcore lyrical cuts reach the Billboard Hot 100. Well, listen, all of this culture in conjunction with the success it is seeing means something, and really for the loser Lawburys, while they are trying to act like having 6 lyrical deep cut masterclasses in any other era would have happened and that this is a normal thing, well listen, what they are doing doesn't even matter, because the Pinocchio superfan himself has clearly just responded to both the Clipse and tried to put out some pretty weird sneak disses at them and also Tyler the Creator and Kendrick Lamar. And now to respond to hip-hop just winning, what lame old Lawbury did was put together a photo collage like he was consulted by the people who hang out with Millie Bobby Brown would tell him. And within a batch of cringe photos that are trying to hide the fact that his tour is an absolute mess right now, well, Drake got to dissing within his favorite way, and of course none other than social media, and within the post he became a keyboard warrior once again as he said this: "My first thought when they get to talking out the side of their mouth is never fear or doubt, it's obviously they got an album coming out." And now with Drake saying this, once again we are seeing Lawbury talk more tough on text than he ever has on any of his new music releases since the beef, which I guess with this he is learning something from all those minor activities he has been doing recently, because really just by acting this tough on social media and nowhere else, it really does seem like he's keeping up with Stranger Things. But seriously, I'm going to stop at those because the Drake stans are getting mad. Really, to break this down, of course what Drake is really calling out here and over everybody else who he is responding to now and in this way Well, altogether, and at the top of this list is the group that is really scaring him and showing that hip-hop is shifting and that his games are no longer running the culture. And of course, this is all due to none other than the Clipse. And now really, as what Drake is trying to refer to here and just copy the narrative that his stan pages have tried to perpetuate to downplay the release of this record, is just to call out the press run they did for Let God Sort Him Out, which amongst many other things that they discussed, of course included how the Clipse literally could not release this record and how they could not say so much in the case of Pusha T in terms of how he wanted to express himself within his own art and songs, and even with the artists and features that he wanted to work with, and this was all because of the way that the Iceman Karen'd out on his entire label and pretty much made them restrict Pusha T from doing literally anything, which for hip-hop this is an entire new low and something we have never seen, which once again, no matter what lame old Lawbury is trying to say, he literally suppressed a rapper from having the ability to speak. And again, even when you understand this, when you just see Drake making a caption that is trying to diss the Clipse for the story that they had to tell and had to present it in the way they did because of the stipulations that he set, really just makes you wonder how delusional you could possibly be. Because when you break this down, listen, for all of the OVO stans who are still watching and annoying me nonstop, which by the way, please make sure to leave that like if you have not, to really just help us out. Well, listen, I'm just gonna put this into an analogy because I have no other way to put it. What Drake pretty much did was go into Subway, make a sandwich, and then complained about how he hated it. And again, he made the sandwich, and now if this was clout chasey or there was no real reason to try and bring up these issues in the first place in this rollout, maybe Drake would have a half of a point or something to say. Of course, again, we all see what has been going on in hip-hop, and this is not the reality of the situation, and Drake was literally playing the ultimate courtside Karen role to the highest level we could have ever seen in terms of just telling the label that no matter what happened, the Clipse had to be shelved, and they would never even hesitate to drop a record with both Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar on it. And again, as you are the first artist to create the Karen rules for another artist, Drake, you can't be surprised right now that they had to bring up the rule that you created and they had to pay 7 figures to get away from, to drop and tell the proper story that they wanted to within their art and really just talk about its creation in general. And again, now while the loser hypebeasts are trying to act like this is some sort of a big diss to the rap game with both Clipse and even Kendrick and Tyler, and they are getting excited about this at this point because these literal bots at this point, and yes, I'm calling them bots now, because seriously, with how these people just groupthink they've lost the title of anything else, well, really, just to act like this is a worthwhile rebuttal and you're calling out Clipse and Pusha T for everything they have been doing, and Kendrick Lamar for that matter as an extension as well. Well, again, as one of these acts just dropped one of the best rap albums we have heard in years, and the other just released a song that is pandering to the entire world literally, and it's now ended up as the biggest flop of Drake's entire career in the streaming era, and this is not my opinion, these are the literal numbers that are telling us this. Again, now, no matter what Drake is doing to diss Pusha T and the Clipse, and anybody else for that matter who is standing against him, which really now this seems to also be an extension to people like LeBron and Tyler the Creator and pretty much just anybody who supports genuine good art or who just does not fully agree with Drake. Well, again, let's just look at all of this as all of these other artists and personalities are having fun and reinventing the value that an album has in this era, and they are just celebrating their own musical greatness and everybody's having a good time with them. And then again, Drake is over here staging how to run away from Pinocchio while whining about everything just going on against him and now trying to act like these people are the clout chasers. Meanwhile, the only motion that Drake has had since the beef has been involving and dragging out the outcome of this thing over and over again. Well, what else can I say? This is why we no longer call you Aubrey, but we call you Lawbury. And I think really what all of us can just put out there now is that really now, besides all the jokes and everything else this could mean, when you just see Drake panicking like this at this point, all around these albums and rap releases that stand for everything he has dodged. Well, listen, now I know that these losers who support Aubrey and who are calling themselves the Icemen for the Iceman will act like there is not this shift in hip-hop and nothing is happening, and that this all means nothing in terms of the run that we have seen from people like Kendrick to the Clipse to Tyler to so many other great artists. But really now, when you just see the numbers and impact that these records are having and the way the conversation has shifted, and really see now how many people have had to pay attention to genuinely great hip-hop that is not chasing clout, which in of itself just feels like a rarity. Well, again, that shift in hip-hop is real, and Drake is recognizing it right here, and this is why he is trying to step on it with whatever pathetic thing he possibly can try to do. And now really, as Drake is recognizing the shift and him and all the losers around him are just crashing out to new levels, really now, as Drake crashes out on social media and so do his fans like a bunch of people that are the age of that person that Drake brought on stage, I don't even know what to say here anymore, but as we are really at this point now where we are going against the shift in hip-hop with this ridiculous garbage, well again, once again, I will ask to everybody who is watching, who won the beef and what side of hip-hop is winning right now overall? And so now with all of this said, let me know. What do you think about Drake's recent crash out, which is now going off on Kendrick, Clipse, Tyler, and pretty much anybody else who he doesn't like? And what do you think is going to come out of all of this? And do you think Drake has any ground to stand on against any of these people? I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all this. Now, if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now if you want to see how right before this, well, things for Drake just got even weirder as J. Cole and Dreamville just showed some of the weirdest support we have seen ever and it's causing more problems, check out the suggested video.